Yo guys, sorry you already know that today we are back playing some more Raging Loop. Or the last time we got poisoned, but we were able to be saved, which honestly has given me an idea. I don't think I'm going to do it now, but I will probably do it at some point. There was a decision, I believe it was this voting, that we could decide to either vote for Uematsu or vote for the old man, I think. I don't remember. But we saved Uematsu, and in turn, she was able to save us from our poison, which makes me think that if we vote her out, that might unlock us dying to being poisoned. So I think that's going to be a unique ending that we can get. However, I am very interested by the fact that there was a knock on my door, which is very terrifying. So I think I want to resolve whatever's happening here, and then when there's like a lull in the action, if that ever comes to pass, I think I want to go back and vote for Uematsu, get her out, because I think that's just going to lead to Haruaki dying to poison. Either way, I'm looking forward to getting back into this and getting some answers. It's actually been a few days since I played this, so I don't actually remember at what point there was a knock on my door. It looks like it is. I mean, it's Thursday, right? Is this the night? Is this the? I don't remember if we've gone to bed yet. This is just Thursday, right? I don't remember if we've gone to bed yet or not. I quickly became tense again. A visitor now? Right after I almost died? I don't think we've gone to sleep yet. I decide what to do after seeing their face. Okay, but then I realized this hut didn't have any way for me to look outside the door. However, there were spaces between the boards of the door, most likely warped by changes in humidity. I peeked outside through them. Oh no, this is gonna be a. Oh, Chami? I was gonna say, I thought this was gonna be a jump scare. Another knock. Who is it? I went ahead and asked. It's me, Chami Serizawa. What is it? I want to ask something. Well, ask away. Shouldn't you be sheltering right now? It's dangerous outside, isn't it? Sure you should be here? Okay. So, alright, we have not gone to bed yet. I think we were about to go to bed, and then instead of falling asleep, instead there was a knock. Alright, I'm recalibrating into where we are right now. I'm okay. There's still people walking around. Can we talk? I don't mind if it's through the door. Sure? I realize that I can't do anything. I'm a huge failure. I've been causing trouble for everyone here since I was little. That's why I studied hard, entered a college, and went outside the village. Did you know that the only way people from Yasumizu can leave is either going to college or finding work somewhere else? I didn't, actually. You have people who work away from home? Yeah, Takumi Nishan left once. His mom and dad are outside, too. News to me. Yeah, his dad is sickly, so he goes outside every now and then. Then why is he here? The incident. No, the feast 8 years ago killed a lot of people, and he returned to help clean up, but the people that were still alive weren't enough for Yasumizu to function. Taibachan depended on him, too, so he, I see. That's why Takumi-san didn't know about the last feast. The rest were in Fujiyoshi, right? Yeah. So no one besides Kanzu-san and the old wolf guy were here. Oh, yeah, Haru-chan. Haru-chan was so lonely at night that she left the school we were staying at all by herself. Then she went through the mountain path and... Huh? She was in Yasumizu too? Oh. I don't know. The adults said they found her in front of Yasumizu, and there were rumors she saw something there. I don't know if that's the reason why, but she started acting weird afterwards. People said she was possessed by a wolf. Okay, well, she's got something going on. Okay. It came as no surprise, but Chami still had info that I didn't know of. Had Haru-chan caught a glimpse of the feast? But that would mean that she too survived the Feast of the Omi Purge. As things were, there was no way to leave Yasumizu when it was engulfed by the mist. I didn't know if you could enter it, but it was natural to think you couldn't leave after doing so. We know for a fact that you can't leave after entering it, because we tried just to get ourselves an ending out of it. I think rationally she shouldn't have made it to Yasumizu in the first place, but her possession... If she'd seen something in the mist without ever making it to Yasumizu, could she have become afflicted with some trauma or something divine because of it? I see, so you rose. You've tried again several times, have you not? If I wanted to find out more about her, it was too late for that this time. I could have been wrong, of course. There was probably a lot more info for me to find, not to mention I couldn't go back unless I died. Also, I decided to save the humans, so I would see it through to the end. Of course, that included her. Sorry, anyway, why did you think you're useless? I mean, I can't vote, right? Nor can I think like Yasukun or Takumi Nishan. Yasukun and even Osachi-san are doing whatever they can. If you ask me, you're the reason why no one crossed certain mental lines. What do you mean? Oh, we grew accustomed to killing and unfairly punishing each other. In a way, we're already insane. Still, we truly regret it if we kill people purely for revenge, and we're absolutely in danger of doing that. And I kind of think that you've been racking your brain trying to avoid that at all costs. That's how it seems to me, anyway. Did I miss the mark? Sorry, I don't mean to act like I know everything about you. I'm just saying that people have what they're good and bad at, and I think that you're a valuable asset in your own Haraki-san? What? All of a sudden, her voice cracked briefly, weighed down with sorrow. Why are you so nice? I'm useless. Even when you collapsed, all I could do was cry. Just say it. Tell me I'm in your way and that I should die. Why would I say something I don't mean? It wouldn't help anyone. Say it. I can't hate you if you don't. I love you, Haruaki-san. Now, we haven't done anything in this loop to make her feel this way. I wonder if there's some lingering feelings that are going through time loops and stuff. I'm not sure. I can't bear it anymore. This wasn't an omission of love. It was an SOS, if not a plea for death. Do you hate your home? I do. Everyone here too? I hate them so much. As if that's true. But there's no place for me here. In the end, she was someone who'd abandoned Yasumizu. Even if there was space for her to live, she just couldn't adjust to this way of life, and her thinking was no longer that of a Yasumizu inhabitant. However, moving away didn't solve all her problems either. She saw a glimmer of hope in her homeland and returned here, or so I assumed. But she didn't get what she wanted and suffered in vain, and to top it all off, she was caught up in the feast. It must have been incredibly painful. So that was why she treated me so nicely when we first met. There must have been a profound emptiness in her heart, but I couldn't return those feelings during this loop. I'd already accepted someone else. I get it. Rikako-san is cute, isn't she? I had no idea she had superpowers too, though. Superpowers? She took away your poison. That's why you survived. It's amazing. I don't stand a chance against that. You're charming too, you know? Then go out with me. Play with me. Hold my hand. Take me on a bike ride far away. Let me spend all day sleeping in your arms. Open this door. I could do that. But that would be an empty gesture. Being granted false hope only led to greater despair. So I didn't open the door. I couldn't. Liar. I lied? Not blatantly, maybe. You let me get my hopes up and then just left me hanging. And now you say you didn't lie? How mean? So cruel and unfair. I'm just awful. I might have underestimated some things here. Trying to save someone you'd given up on was just naive hypocrisy. In the end, you need to be prepared to never see them again. But that only works when you've been physically separated. I was probably the only refuge she had left, but in this mist, there was nowhere for her to hide. She could only attack herself in a roundabout manner by criticizing me. And I want you to reject me properly. No matter what happened here, it wouldn't end well. Worst case scenario, she could disappear into the mist again. Could I really write it off as simply drama between a man and a woman? But I'd already decided. The moment I opened my mouth, what are you doing here, Serizawa-sama? Oh my gosh. Rikako-san's voice. It's nothing. I'm just being pathetic. Night is for sheltering, and as the snake Fuseishi-sama is in danger, should you not be more considerate? You're walking around too. As an Uematsu, I must perform what nightly patrols I can. That's just an excuse. Someone will die regardless, and what could you do if something did happen anyway? Even you could be a wolf, right? Stop it, Chami-chan. The head of the Uematsu family, a beauty, a woman of character. You're not very popular in Yasumizu, but everyone here thinks you're a good person. In Khan Fujiyoshi, you're actually respected and revered. You have a place to return to, but none of that matters, does it? Chami. Don't say my name. Rikako-san might be a wolf. She might be a terrible person. This might all be an act. I'm human. Anyone can say that. What matters is whether you can get someone to believe you. And you use superpowers. Of course everyone will believe you. Of course he'll love you. I don't stand a chance against that. You have everything I don't have. You even took Haruaki-san. This is too cruel and unfair. I mean, I was never yours to begin with. I've been here for like 2 days. Y'all need to chill out. She didn't want to hurt Rikako-san. She only wanted to hurt herself. But as one who could do nothing but hurt her, I couldn't say anything. You are misunderstanding me. How? Haruaki-sama simply gave me hope. He merely lended his chest to me. In fact, he refused my indecent request. Even as he was dying, he clearly rejected me. There's nothing between us and never will be. You're lying. You're just playing it off. Okay, so she was just being, like, horny in the moment. Around, like, everybody? I'm so confused. Rather, I am the one who has nothing. I am a hollow woman possessing only the Uematsu family's crest, history, and faith. I do not have a place of my own either. I do not even have the power to cling to salvation. My entire body and mind was sold off to Shinai-sama. What do you mean? Once the mist clears, I intend to finish my business here. Hand Mako to the police. Let the flow take me away from here and accept where I end up. But you're different. Once the mist clears, Yasumizu will surely accept you. Your cheerfulness, strength, and consideration gives everyone hope. This is where you belong, and I have no such place. And Fusaishi-sama belongs elsewhere. As those born in Fujiyoshi, we cannot dream of spending our lives with him. Let us go back. I will take you to your room. No, I don't get you at all. It's not that complicated. If you love each other, then date, and do whatever you want. I cannot do that anymore. Why? She's right. Yeah. Rikako-san had my thanks. She gave me the best way to deal with this. Fusaishi-sama. I want to ask the head of the Uematsu something about the feast in Fujiyoshi. However, I won't open the door. Chami-chan, you can go now. No way. If you don't believe that much, we wouldn't have worked out anyway. Then I'll stay here. What would you think if someone sat in and listened as you went over your history with men? Alright, I'm going. I had no idea she really understood, or understood it the way I intended, but she could probably tell that we were about to speak about something unpleasant. Haraki-san, once the mist clears, do what you have to and do it right. Backing down was part of a proper breakup. Good night. I could hear her walk off, then nothing. Uematsu-san, let me apologize for one thing. Yes? I showed you something unsightly earlier. If we weren't in the situation, I'd have actually loved that. Please, don't say that. It made the mood less tense, but it wasn't quite enough. Then I'll just ask, was that an act or something? Or a mask you wore when you had to fulfill your role as Uematsu? I could hear her gasp. You knew? That response proved my assumption was correct. The bedroom woman servant. I should have questioned the lewdness, the derogatory nature of that term a bit earlier. The Uematsu were the Fujiyoshi head family in charge of the night, including the secret matters related to it. They weren't just the night watch and people in charge of funerals, they also handled the nightly affairs of men and women. That meant they were Fujiyoshi's local sexual service providers. As the head of the family, Rikaku-san obviously knew how to handle such things. If I had to guess, all the Uematsu girls were given such a role. Also, I imagine that taking in the poison and corruption was closely related to bodily intimacy. I didn't know much about historic Japan's ideas of medicine, but I knew about the Chinese idea that lovemaking and health were closely tied together. Well, even if it wasn't something like that, knowing the human body, they could have easily formed the logic that it released negative energy. Spiders ate the prey by melting their insides and sucking them out, and boy, wasn't that fitting. There was also the Joragumo, the orb-weaving spiders, who shared their name with a yokai that was linked to many lustful stories. In the West, the female spiders that ate their males were called widows, and the black widow was extremely poisonous. Unnerving, elegant, and sexy at the same time, spiders were unique creatures that created webs they used to catch their prey and consume them by melting them with poison. I could understand why equating them with evil women and enchanting ladies was so universal. And just now I practically asked her if she was that. I was more or less right. Fujiyoshi was once a place where hunters thrived, attracting many outsiders, a lot of whom were rowdy. To keep them from going after the local women, Fujiyoshi had to train specialists with the right set of skills. The Uematsu gained influence by placing their own relatives in that role. Also prior to that, the Uematsu had some religious significance, turning their monopolization of sex into a sanctified act. Their influence must have spread to birth and child-rearing as well, and the yoke of tradition made them very powerful. The Uematsu successfully gained control of the darkness most of the living people encountered by donning the filthy title of bedroom woman servants and facing that darkness head-on. The Megorama controlled through the public side of faith and politics, the Higuchi handled food and smithing, new info, while the Nosato handled medicine, among other fields. I'd wonder where the Uematsu came in, and now it all made sense. But as time passed and the family business ceased having a place in modern society, their influence began to decline. War, the drop in demand for hunting, and the spread of diseases from the outside had made the Uematsu lose relevance. And the final descendants of the family had neither the originality nor zeal to adapt to the times and survive. Because of our role, we did not consider protecting the bloodline to be important. If a Uematsu girl gave birth, the child would be an Uematsu regardless of who fathered it. They would be taught the family's teachings, rites, some absurd laws, and become true Uematsu. The head would always be a woman, who also worked as a bedroom woman servant, and if she had a daughter, that daughter would be the new head. But if she did not, a different qualified girl would inherit the role. Oh. The Uematsu were bound not by blood, but ideals. Okay. And if Fujiyoshi rejected them, we would be a hollow shell of our former selves. And it's not like any of the other three families would want to merge with us. The head of the spider family, the priestess of the spider, had a dark background befitting that title, and the future was bleak for her as well. The Uematsu were an unnatural relic of the path, and by cutting them off, the other three families would be able to further modernize themselves. Despite no chance of the family recovering, Rikaku Uematsu was born into an unenviable position and grown to be another bedroom woman servant. I wasn't capable of claiming I could understand her. It wasn't an exaggeration to say we lived in different worlds. It would have been absurd to even claim I could take on her despair. You are truly gentle. I couldn't understand what she meant at all, so I thought about it for a few seconds before I would ask. You heard all that, yet you did not curse me as filthy or talk me down. But this gentleness hurts. If you simply curse me, I would find it much easier to give up. I think I understand how Serizawa-sama feels now. Oh, what? There's a... We're gonna get a key to help us make a different choice here? Okay, so this is gonna lead to us dying in some way. Okay. And then we can get that key and come back here. That's gonna lead to a perfect opportunity to take the other path from before where I think I'm gonna die to poison. Okay, alright, I have a game plan now. Alright, so we're just gonna give up. Why did the locals think it natural to put themselves down and give up on what they wanted? Was it common for local breakups to be considered the woman's responsibility? Or were men the ones who dumped while the woman simply continued pining, or something? Was it a custom? All I'd say to that was eat shit. But perhaps the ones making the mistake were the ones who fell in love with girls like that. Is that enough? Can I ask just one more thing? Yes. Your family head, do you have anything to do with the secrets behind the feast? No. I do not know what the Migurama are thinking, but the bedroom woman servants must be of no value to them. Then why were you so certain that you could let me escape? The silence wasn't too long. I'm a descendant of an old family that lived in superstition. I used my powers as such to take in your poison. I thought that perhaps I could use it to let you escape. There was nothing more to it. That made sense, and now that she used divinity as a basis, there was no room for me to argue. Is that enough? Yes, thank you, I believe you. I guess it's time to sleep. Hope we see each other again tomorrow. You shall not die tonight. The spider sent to us by Shinai-sama will protect you. She was basically saying that she would protect me. When you say that, it's strangely believable. Huh? Nothing. Give my regards to Mako. Certainly. Huh? Why? I'll probably mention this again tomorrow, but if I ask you, please tell the truth. That will end this game. If you're not with us at that point, I will take Mako to the police. Thank you, I believe you. That was the end of that. Still behind the door, she gave me a boring goodbye and left. If we make it through the night, I actually think this might end up in an ending, but not a bad ending. But an ending that will still give us a key. I'm starting to believe that this might not be a path for us to die, but watch me just be proven wrong in like 30 seconds here. Remarkably fatigued, I collapsed onto the futon. It was pretty thin, so the hard floor below hurt my shoulders, but I couldn't be bothered to even react. Did I actually just break up with 2 women in one evening? It hadn't even been that long since I'd broken up with Mitsuji, and I'd already made a habit of it. Is that the first time that we've gotten his ex-girlfriend's name? I'd gone on a trip because of a breakup, only to find more of them. If I couldn't escape, maybe I'd be happiest if I just came in through Saranaga like last time and enjoyed some time with Jimmy. Or is there a better path to take now? I couldn't tell anymore. Wolves were out and about tonight, yet here I was thinking about this stuff. Was something wrong with my head? Well, there probably was, but this wrongness was different. Still, I saw how things would go. There was one thing that bothered me, though. Would Rikaku-san survive? That question, no worry, remained floating in my brain. I tried to let go of my consciousness. But I don't know if she is going to survive. Who did we even, look at? I don't remember. I'm not sure if, yeah, I don't know if we even got a choice there. I don't think we did. But I don't remember if Haruaki said who he was investigating. Alright, I'm just going to keep letting this loop play out, I think. Nothing I woke up to came to me as a surprise. I hadn't died. I'd known it'd be that way. All that remained was figuring out how to end things. I merely had to find a compromise between what was happening and what I felt. No, there were 2 more things to consider. The wolves could go out of control before the feast even began. And I didn't know who I had to mourn today. It was 5 in the morning and everything was still covered in mist. I could see things better than at night, but not by a whole lot. Was Kanzo-san patrolling again? He was no longer like he had been yesterday morning, so I could hope that he was, but he no longer had a gun. The fact that he, a confirmed human, was patrolling like that was actually pretty good for us. I carefully took a step forward. I'm so scared for any step I take to just be like a jump scare of sorts. The wolves were liable to appear from the mist at any moment, so I stuck around just in case. However, this was a world of mist and ominous silence. As I walked, the grass swayed, and the crunching of the gravel felt loud enough to be heard by the entire village. I wonder if the wolves even, like, have trouble seeing in the mist. They might be able to navigate through it without any problems. I'm just saying that based off of nothing but a guess. In fact, even the sound of my heartbeat was deafening. To hell with this, I had to pull myself together. If they were coming, I surely would have heard them too. I just had to stand still to know if I was in danger. I didn't hear anything. There was no one, or perhaps everyone was hiding. As I began suspecting that a murderer was about to pop out of the nearby bushes, I stopped running. I went to the side of the road and hid myself. Oh no, who is it? I carefully thought about the situation. If you looked at the feast as a game, the judges were mostly uninvolved in its progression, leaving it to the players. They only dispensed supernatural deaths to those who killed more than one, or humans, who walked around at night. It was really minimal intervention. On the other hand, though, that didn't mean they would stick to the rules and keep the number of victims under 2. And so far, the sides that were cornered tried to kill people even if it meant getting the death penalty. It happened every time. In other words, observance of the rules wasn't valued, meaning that having more deaths than allowed was not a problem. Not only were the humans unprotected, but the wolves, who saw justice in the real story, were entirely capable of disregarding the corruption to commit murder. Looking at it that way, I had no idea what the Game Master, Great Lord Shinai, was trying to accomplish. Did he just want to see bloodshed? In that case, why the roundabout method? He was the god of the mountain. The corruption was his law. The Yomi B2 were the enemy, but it wasn't clear whether the ones sent to Yomi were the humans or wolves. It made so little sense if the corruption was the power of the Yomi, it wasn't even clear where the boundary between the mountain and Yomi was. In other words, it was safe to think that the mountain and Yomi were the same thing. Shinai was both the mountain and Yomi, a two-faced god who split the Fujiyoshi people worshipping him into 2 opposing factions on a whim. His aim was this very bloodshed. The mist, the village, everything here was like a coliseum to him. A hunting ground, basically. I had to be overthinking things. However, the fact that the rules weren't strict and the punishment wasn't swift created an opening. There probably was a way to clear the game with minimal casualties. I had to make it through this situation, though. Oh, can we do it? I made a gamble. Oh, gosh. After taking a deep breath. Yeah! Okay, I was like, I just want to run into somebody, please. I screamed at the top of my lungs, then hid. If Kanza-san or Takumi-san heard it, they were bound to come. If it was a wolf, instead, they would make a move, wondering why something serious happened without their knowing. They couldn't catch me off guard if I hid and watched from the shadows. Oh boy. 5 minutes passed, yet I heard nothing. What if everyone was already dead? That was impossible. Maybe they knew what I was thinking and were now planning to ambush me? I was just guessing, but you never knew what could happen in this mist. My next option was to sneak around and look around the whole village. Oh gosh. I would move swiftly and in short bursts. I'd make noises for sure, but it would also make it harder for any other potential lurkers to find me. The Okiba were large and had decent amounts of space between them, making them good hiding places. I feel like all this is going to end up being for nothing, but I have no idea. I ran and hid. Then I held my breath. Nothing was happening. Not thinking much about it, I repeated the process. I ran and hid, then stayed quiet. I ran and hid. Here we go. Yeah, we found somebody. Rah! Yoshizuku popped out of the stone I was aiming for and charged at me. I jumped to the side. A wood-cutting axe slashed through the place I was just standing in. Wait, he's actually trying to kill me? Fuck! Wait, it's me, calm down. You, fuck! He then angrily threw the axe away in a random direction and screamed. Okay, so he wasn't actually coming after me, specifically. Fuck, fuck, fuck! No point in sneaking around anymore. But this made me understand something. His rage could only mean one thing. Was the one who died last night. Fuck, fuck. After waiting for him to calm down a bit, we began walking together, no longer trying to hide at all. If he'd made so much noise and survived regardless, it was safe to assume there would be no ambushes. And even if there was, it would be 2v2, we would be on equal footing. As expected, we made it to the plaza without anything happening. Yoshizuku-kun hadn't said a word the whole way. He was just breathing heavily, like when he attacked me, and his eyes were so wide that his agitation seemed to become madness. I'll look. Yeah. Not waiting for an answer, I went to the dining hall. I was instantly assaulted by a strange reek. We would never eat here again. As I became certain of that fact, my heart sank, which was pretty out of character for me. I took a step forward. The cupboard's glass was completely destroyed, and there were porcelain pieces all over the place. This must have been caused by Yoshizuku-kun's rampage. Her bed was upstairs, where Kaori stays. I went up carefully just in case, but it didn't feel like there was anyone alive inside. The supports and walls were slightly damaged in places. Yoshizuku-kun had taken it really hard, huh? Even the phone, the only one in the village, was completely broken and on the floor. After seeing it, I went further in to her room. It was the same. The philosophy behind the murder was the same as Haruchan's. The bloody footprints were standard at this point. There was no doubt that this was done by wolves. What was different was that it wasn't a clobbering, but a slashing. Kaori Oribe's remains were cut up and drowning in the sea of blood. She hadn't been torn apart or split up randomly. It was best to say that she'd been cut into rings. Her body was lying on its back, covered neck to toe in horizontal slashes. They did make it to the bone, but didn't break through them. Her entire front was cut open like fish fillet. I couldn't tell whether she died from blood loss or suffocation due to the multiple neck injuries, but whichever it was, she'd suffer an awful end. And yet again, for some reason, her face was left completely untouched. She'd clearly vomited lots of blood, and her expression was downright demonic. Had she been conscious while it was happening? Were the faces of the detestable wolves burned into her now dead eyes? I'd seen how intense this woman could be, and at this point, a part of me felt like it was the real her. However, no matter how demonic she was definitely a loving mother. To both her two sons, as well as Yasumizu as a whole. Looking at her reminded me of the Buddhist goddess demon Hariti, or Kishibojin, no matter how irrelevant that was. And oh boy, was it irrelevant. In Shinai-sama's court, gods on the outside had absolutely no power. Alright, suddenly, I realized that her arms were completely unharmed. I also noticed that some of the wounds seemed to be facing downwards. The back of the hand was facing upwards, while the palm was facing down, despite the wounds being on the palm. Why? Upon further observation, I noticed something strange about her undamaged hand. Her fingers were in a peculiar position. Her right hand squeezed its pinky and ring finger. Pinky and ring, okay. Meanwhile, her left was grasping all the fingers except the thumb, okay. Had she been conscious when she gotten these wounds? Had she bent her arms and pushed her fingers on the floor in this position? Was it a shape created by her painful, absurd end? Or perhaps some sort of message? Yoshitsugu-kun had caught up with me. Is that... I'm trying to, like, visualize it. I'm just like, is that, like, 3 and then 1? Or something? I don't know. With Yasunugu-kun in tow. Mom. That it? What are you getting at? You think you understand how I feel? You want me to wail or something? I'm grieving too. This is pure despair, but I need to think so I can avenge her. Mom always told me to think a lot, study a lot, and become a hallmark of excellence so that Dad could rest in peace. I'm jealous of you. You don't have to deal with that. You lived however you wanted, yet you still got all of Mom's attention. In the end, I've been clinging to something so childish my whole life and always wasted time on such useless thoughts. But I still thought that all of these walls between us would be gone when you grew up and Mom became reasonable. But that's impossible now. It makes me feel empty. Aniki. Please don't say stuff like that. Mommy's gone. She'd always say something if we were being troublesome, but she's no longer here. Why are you being troublesome at a time like this? I will avenge her. I will find out what these fingers mean, understand it, and chase down who did it. That'll be the end of my involvement with her. Mommy loved you. You know, you always piss me off too. When we talked, she'd always talk about you. She'd do it to others too. Hell, she'd even talk about you when she's by herself. You live in the dorm, so you don't know this, but recently she often talked to Dad's photo and always about you. You're lying. I'm not. She loved you more than me. Of course she did. You're better than me. That's why she pushed the shit on me. Fuck. Suddenly, he pushed me aside, went forward, and reached for her body. Hey, what are you doing? Mommy, I'm so sorry. All choked up, he screamed and opened his dead mother's mouth. What? Shit, it ain't here. Yoshitsugu, stop. Did she swallow something? Yasunagi-kun's eyes widened at my question, while Yoshitsugu-kun reached for the wound on her neck. Mommy. What? Found it. What he took out was something small and covered in blood. He cleaned it with his fingers, exposing something transparent. Apparently it was something covered in food wrapping. Aniki, open it. She told me to dig through her body if she died. And give, what I find to you. She really did love you more than me. Wake the fuck up. Fuseishi-san. Sorry, but could you open it for me? My hands are shaking. I felt apologetic. I probably wasn't even supposed to be here in the first place, so I would at least do this much. What? The wrap had a rolled piece of paper inside. When I unrolled it, I realized just how small it was. There was a tiny but legible writing on it. The wrap protected any damage caused by blood or saliva, so I could read it clearly. What? Whoa. Oh, wait. 1, Rikaku Uematsu, 2, Shiemi Serizawa, 3, Chikamori Kamashita, 4, Miko, 5 other. What does that mean? What does that mean? I mean, it could have been a note of who she was looking at, but she was the crow, right? So she could only look at people who were hung or whatever. So what does this mean? Please read this together, you two. I always knew you were concerned about my attitude. I wanted Yasunaga to show what he's capable of somewhere far away from this dreadful place, and I would be too worried if I didn't have Yoshitsugu at my side. I came this far with such thoughtlessness, but it doesn't seem like I will survive this night, so please understand this much. I love both of you more than anything in the world. Please forget everything aside from that and have a fun brotherly life. Wow, this wasn't something I could read for them. I just spread it out and put it on the simple dresser on my side. It says you two should read it together. I will leave, but before that, let me examine your mother's remains a bit. They didn't say a word, and I took that as a yes. I walked up to the remains. Again, I checked that the wounds on the palms were facing down. The right hand's thumb, index, and middle finger were up, while on the left it was only the thumb. So, I mean, that's like 3 fingers on one finger on the other. I looked into the wound Yoshitsugu-kun had reached into and extended my finger toward it. I opened it up and examined the cut. It was just one large tube. I see. I'm done here. I'll wait with everyone else downstairs. Okay. It has been almost 30 minutes, so I guess this is where I'm going to end off the episode. I think I'm just going to play this loop out because I feel like we're going to get an ending of some sort. I think we might be done with, like, just dying, but obviously I want to make it to the end, get some more keys, and then we have a lot of options as to where we want to go next. But I think I'm sort of making an order of operations in my head, which, you know, works for me. And, yeah, we got a lot of stuff to do. So hopefully you are enjoying and looking forward to more. If so, let me know. But I will see you on the next time. So till then, peace out.